CarolinaPrepper.com. If you're looking for quality food storage for hiking, fishing, hunting, basic survival needs, or just for everyday use, check out our food storage line at CarolinaPrepper.com. We also carry other fine quality products such as our can concealment holsters for men and women. Keeping your firearm under cover and within reach puts confidence in your hands in any situation. Our products are 100% American made. Check us out today at CarolinaPrepper.com.
And now, it's time to Stand for Truth with the host of Stand for Truth Radio, Susan Knowles.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Marianne. Good to see you. How's everybody doing this morning? Good to see everybody. Hey, Hugh. Hey, Gary. Good to see you. Robin, good to see you. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. No kidding. Cafefe Thursday. Carrie, nice to see you. Thank you for swiping, well, not swiping and inviting, but touching on the three little dots and doing that inviting. Hello, Robin. Good to see you. Laura, good to see you. Lori, good morning. Riding on my exercise bike. Good for you, Marianne. Hey, Nancy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Had to delete it from your phone, Gary. How come? Hey, Rhonda. Good to see you. Good morning. Clinton News Network. Yeah, no kidding. How bad can it be? Good morning on Facebook Live. Nancy, good to see you. Everybody, please invite your followers, please. How's everybody on YouTube Live this morning? Good to see you. Laura, good to see you. You're playing Roblox? Good for you, whatever that is. I don't play that, so homie don't play that, so I don't know what that is. Hey, Ron, good to see you. It is a wonderful morning. It is a very wonderful morning. Marlene, good to see you. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Really appreciate it. Shauna, good to see you. Please, if you would, swipe and invite or just touch the 3 stars and invite. Now we can no longer swipe. Hey, Asher, good morning. Hope your roommate is doing well. Tell Doug I said hi. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Ben Shapiro, 2024, because Trump will be a 2-term president, of course. Of course. Good to see everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. This is I can't believe it's Thursday. It feels like, the beginning of next week. I mean, it's just so many things happening. Just found out this morning my favorite high school teacher passed away. She will be missed and read until the end. It's sorry to hear that, Rhonda, and she's in a better place, and that's a wonderful thing. Asher. I know he's disappointed, Asher, but, live and learn, right? No. Off to work, ready for the weekend. Oh, who is ready for the weekend? I think everybody's ready for the weekend. Good morning, Mrs. Second Amendment. How are you? I love all the flags and the hand waves. Good to see you. Good to see you. Sarah, good to see you. Please invite your followers. Phone is full, just cleaning it up. I will be back. Okay, Gary, sounds good. Hurry back, please. Good, your school is finished. Wonderful. Hey, Teresa, good morning. Hope everything is well with you. All right, so we started out the day with Trump's tweets. President Trump is tweeting again. Going to be here in New Jersey. Is it Karen? Can't tell with that name. I don't recognize the name. Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Sarah, for the super hearts. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So did anybody see Trump's tweets this morning? Hugh, I have no idea why you keep getting booted from the chat. Must be something on your connection. Yeah, did you see that? Hey, Bob, good to see you. Facelift. I know, and I'm telling you that's going to be the topic of the day. They're already talking about the tweets and how it's misogynistic, it's anti-women, it's sexist, on and on and on. You made a fun meme for that. They drive Dems nuts. I love them. I know. And Melania came out, the first lady, and said, you know, I told you when you come after him, he punches back 10 times harder. So I think his tweet was nice. I think his tweet was probably accurate for the most part. Basically what he said is that Mika and Joe came, hey, Judy, good to see you, came to Mar-a-Lago and wanted into a New Year's Eve party. She looked like she had blood on her face from a facelift. Don't know if she did or not. Haven't confirmed whether or not she had a facelift. And so then he said, no, you can't come there. Now, reports are, and these are, CNN sources, so I don't know. They're saying that they actually did come in and they had a nice conversation. So I have no idea if that's true. But, just saying somebody has blood on their face from looking like some type of surgery, they didn't like it because they didn't like the fact that he talked about the woman there and not about the men. So I guess now if you talk about a woman, you have to balance it with talking about a man. I don't think he's worried about his naked wife's pictures, which happened a long time ago. They're out for public view. Blood on the hands, blood on the face. I know, exactly. So yes, she was a model. That's right. And people can't get over that, the fact that she posed as a model. I mean, there are a lot of other models that pose. Nobody's talking about them. But I guess, again, that's going to be the topic of the day. It's like the racism thing, so it's time to fight back and talk about women all the time. Yes. No, she wasn't. But you have a nice day. If you want to come in and name call, you can go someplace else. We don't have that here. Hey, Rhonda. Love the Trump tweets, Kara said. Rhonda is thanking everybody for the condolences for her high school teacher that passed away. Oh, you missed a tweet topic, Teresa. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Exactly. Some people just want to come in and spout ugly stuff. Funny dramatic reading, praise Trump profusely, Shauna said. Liberals should love that kind of thing. I know. Good morning, Robert. Thank you for the flowers. Yeah, basically what he did was he tweeted out that Mika and Joe came to Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve, wanted in to a party, I guess, that he was having. And he said that Mika looked as though she had some like blood on her face from a facelift. And basically he said, no, you can't come in to the party. According to some reports, though, they say that they actually did come into the party and they had a nice conversation. Mika reposted with small hands Cheerio ad. I retweeted, a little Joe must have them each morning. Mika should know. That's what somebody tweeted back. Maybe I'm just jealous because I can't afford a facelift. I know. I didn't see who said that. But it's, come on. She had a weak comeback. Well, what do you expect? I mean, she's the one that said, what, was it a week ago that there were no real men in the White House? I mean, come on, Mika. Wasn't that a little sexist of you to say that? But that's okay for Mika to say because it's Mika. Why would he say that? I guess because of the fact that what they were saying yesterday about him, they haven't been exactly nice. They called him, let's see, what was it? The biggest liar ever, I think Joe said. Here's exactly what Joe said. I have it here for you. Morning Joe and Mika, his co-host fiance's soon-to-be wife, reacted to Sarah Huckabee Sanders' criticism of the media by calling the president, Joe said he's the greatest liar to ever set foot in the White House and whose lying is incredibly disturbing. And then Mika said he props people. Now, listen to this. Listen to this insult against Sarah Huckabee Sanders in addition to Trump. But again, it's okay for her. But it's not okay for President Trump, right? Mika said he props up people like Sarah Huckabee Sanders to back up his lies and she does it with a straight face. It's incredibly disturbing. Now, again, no admission of fault on their part. No admission of saying, well, look at her, what she said about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. That is a little bit against women, don't you think? And that's a little bit sexist, don't you think, Mika? But I guess Mika, because she's female, it's okay for her to say that. Trump said, I heard poorly rated Morning Joe speaks badly of me, don't watch anymore. Then how come low IQ crazy Mika, along with Psycho Joe, came to Mar-a-Lago 3 nights in a row? Around New Year's Eve, insisted on joining me. She was bleeding badly from a facelift. I said no. And Shauna, thank you for putting that out there. Rhonda said MSM only wants to dish it out but cannot stand it when he gives them a taste of their own medicine. And Hugh agreed with that. Hey, Philip, good morning. Good to see you on Facebook Live. Yeah, I know. So it's okay for everybody else to say things. It's not okay for him. And, Lindsey Graham already came out and said, oh, Mr. President, that's not nice of you to say, whatever. So, like him, hate him, whatever. He did comment on being called the biggest liar in the White House. So it's okay. Again, it's okay for them to call names. I wish neither side would call names, but they want to have it. It's a double standard. Yes, it is. Everyone can't slam him, but he can't. Everyone can slam him, but he can't. Double standards, Marianne said. He did lie, though. And what did he lie about? Seriously? Yes, seriously, Jack. Mika needs to have Joe remove her big girl panties and give them back to her to wear, Laura said. Sometimes tit for tat. Nancy said, absolutely. Trump's in the hat, Rhonda said. Lindsay is a turncoat. Yeah, so Lindsay had to come out and quickly defend, Mika and Joe and tell Trump that wasn't nice. I guess, it's probably just as nice as the police acted stupidly. Remember that one? MSNBC is on the coup to get rid of Trump, so who are they going to talk pure folly? Yes. Does anyone even watch MSM News anymore? Most people get their news of live media. I know, Asher, I don't watch the news. Swish, flush, Jack. Trump did not lie, and he makes promises. That's right. You've never seen it? Yeah. I like this tweet. Reaches us all more than MSM can hope to do. Absolutely. That's absolutely true. James O'Keefe better come out with an MSNBC video now, Shauna said. Look at what we are teaching our children. Yeah, well, we've been teaching them for a long time, starting with a president, who said that I did not sleep with that woman in the White House. That's where it started. Remember? Actually, he said I did not have sexual relations. Our president keeps his promises. That's right, Sandra. And did everybody see the part 2 of James O'Keefe? That was pretty funny with Van Jones. The whole Russia thing is a nothing burger. Hillary doesn't lie either. Marianne said. It's a shame. I mean, seriously, I wish there weren't these barbs going back and forth, these jabs at each other. I don't do that type of thing. If somebody does that to me, I try to just, come back with something that maybe will help them not do that the next time. But I can understand the frustration of this president. I mean, after all, from the very beginning and even before he became president, they've done nothing but attack him. Nothing but attack him. It is embarrassing for this country in some ways, Teresa. I have to agree with you. Yeah, he does need to defend himself. They are trying a coup. Yeah. Makes me support POTUS more because of the left savagely going after him. I know, Robin. Absolutely. So, yeah, Shauna was saying my scope announcement that she did this morning was a funny nothing burger meme. Y'all look at it. Too funny. I love making memes, Shauna said. She does some really good memes, too. Hey, Monique. Yeah, so, I mean, and I get it, and nobody wants that type of thing. I think, too, as a president, you have to remember that you are a role model for the country. If you and I did something like that, it could possibly be overlooked. But when the president does it, it is more of a serious thing. And again, I wish in some ways he wouldn't do it, but I understand it. I really do. They say whatever they want to say, and it's absolutely okay, and no one calls them on it. Hey, Kimberly, good to see you. I thought it was really good last night. Twitter is the only accurate voice he has. I mean, Robin, it's true. It's absolutely true. But look at Deep, yeah, the Depp, Griffin, and Cusack. I know, and nobody really said all that much about it. God has his mighty hand on this president. Yes. At least he keeps us informed. That's true, Teresa. I mean, again, it's I think it just gets to a boiling point and he just kind of loses it in some ways. And he doesn't lose it in a bad way, but he goes to Twitter and he does some things he probably shouldn't. Trump is a New Yorker, and that's how many from New York speak their minds. Yes, that's true. Trump sarcastically lies, then the media acts it out, but public sees it through the media. Yeah. Joe and Mika, Trump mentally ill, they said a couple days ago, and then they went after his son, too. Exactly. Hey, Nicole, they go after him, they go after his family, and hey, Kim, good to see you. And then they think it's okay. Yeah, please speak English because we don't speak anything else in here but English. Um, so we want to know what you're saying. Let's see, I would have lost it a long time ago. Trump is strong. Exactly, Robin. I mean, how much can you take day in and day out? They have, I haven't seen recently them going after Barron, but, it wouldn't surprise me. Did Mika and Joe something in particular this morning? I've never watched, so just wondering. Basically, they just tweeted back to Trump after his tweet came out about them. They disrespect him and the office of the presidency daily. I wish he would ignore it, but I'm sure he's sick of it. Asher said, I saw they are going after Jay Sekulow with accusations now. Yeah, good luck with that one. Good luck touching Jay Sekulow. A man has a record that you could compare it to anyone. He's going to come out on top. Why are they so disrespectful to him? I've never seen anything like this. Because they want to fulfill their agenda. Don't expect sympathy from Trump after mentally ill. I know, exactly. Jay is tough. Yes. Trump did tweet because he wanted us to all start out our day with laughter. Very true. Hey, Lainey, good to see you. Monique said, me too. The press has shredded him to pieces with nonstop lies, and I completely understand how and why he is provoked to respond the way he does. I wish he wouldn't, but do understand it. Yeah, you can only take so much. Jay can stand up to anyone. He's a man after God's own heart. Yes. Good luck going after Jay. MSM went after his son, so Trump going to bite back. Yeah, they always do that, and they think it's perfectly okay to go after a Republican's son or daughter, but that, they forbid you from doing the same thing. Again, usually the people on the right don't do that type of thing, so we don't have an issue with that. We must continue covering POTUS in prayers. Absolutely, Robin. Do you think he reads or hears about everything the media says? Yes, I do think he does, Teresa. Yes. They got your hackles up, Lori. I think they did for a lot of people. The media has done this to themselves. And now, you remember the guy in the back of the room that I said looked like Columbo? The one in the press corps? Kareem, I think or Karim, Karem is his name. I think his first name's Brian. He looks like Columbo from the 70s TV series, who stood up and started going after Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Well, Jim Acosta, and this other, I think it's a woman named Robin, I believe, they've decided that they're going to be the three now that go into the press corps meetings, and they're going to kind of like gang up together on Sarah or Sean or whoever else happens to be there. This is their new agenda now. Let's go to press corps. Let's gang up. Forget the American people. I loved her expression when he was attacking her. I know her one eyebrow goes up. But CNN and MSNBC in the back of the press room, absolutely, or outside. Hello, how are you? So we now play the woman card. Yeah, that's what they're doing. The media has, let's see, we were respectful of Obama's girls. Yes. Yay, they think they're left. So who wants to know what senators do not vote on the Cates law? Yeah. Hey, how are you? Gina, good to see you. They can get kicked out quickly. Trump gave Mika and Joe a wedgie, Laura said. Yeah, they didn't appreciate it. Hey, Roger, thank you so much for the super hearts. Thank you, thank you. She was like, oh, yeah, wait till you hear my response. I know. Yeah, so, I mean, we've, Rhonda said they are there to cover news, not become it. No, Rhonda, they're there to become it. That's the problem. Asher said, what is stupid is she wasn't even talking to him. She was responding to someone else. I love Sarah. And it's true, Asher. And she explained, she was talking to some guy, a reporter from Breitbart, answering his question. And the guy in the back of the room has to get up and, without being called upon, and just voice his opinion. And they're going to continue to do more of that. And I think, what they're trying to do now, I think they really should not do these live. I think if need be, edit some of it. If these people get up and they start doing this stuff, maybe edit. They're not going to, but they should. They are there to bring Trump down, and that's it. That's all they're there to do. He's called on a conservative. What a travesty. Oh, he's called on a conservative? Sarah is awesome. Sarah's doing a great job. Sarah looked professional the other day. She sounded professional. I was really impressed. Can they not take away their pass? Yeah, they can, Barbara, but I guess if they do, they're just going to say you're trying to stop our First Amendment rights. I guess also President Trump had a fundraising, and he excluded the media, and they weren't happy about that. I guess they excluded them. Then Sarah came out and said, okay, we're going to let you in. And then a few minutes later came out and reversed that and said, no, you're not coming in. Sarah's doing a great job. Yes, I agree, Roger. Very much so. So after they weren't allowed into the fundraiser, what happens is they come out and they say, I think President Trump is really starting his campaign for re-election much earlier than he should because Obama and Bush didn't do it until the second year. So now he's being compared to them and what they did, and if he did something different, then that's not okay. And why did they do that? Because they didn't get invited into the fundraiser. The pass is a privilege or a right. They're a privilege, basically, Barbara. But what happens is under First Amendment, there's freedom of the press. So it's a very sticky area. So you have to kind of be careful. He made $10 million, Carrie said. Asher said they don't have to have these presses. I would stop doing it and control the narrative. I absolutely would too. Absolutely would do that. Just stop them altogether. Tweet out to us what you want us to know. As I was saying yesterday in my Knowles on the News that I taped, some of you were there. Thank you for being there and watching that taping. But what I said is let's have average Joes like you and me. Thank you, Barbara, for the super hearts on the street. Talk to us. Let us ask the questions. Skype us in. And we will ask you the questions that are important to America, the questions that we want to know, and not the questions based upon the agenda of the media. Come on, do that. He's POTUS, not past president. Exactly. Sarah Huckabee is a preacher's daughter. Don't mess with preacher's daughters. I am one. We are strong. No doubt, Carrie. And I think they're learning that. She does a better job than Spicer in some instances. Because she doesn't take it. Reporters can't seem to leave themselves out of the story. I thought Megyn Kelly was running for president. I know. It's true. But, again, let's get back to talking with the American people. Let's ask us what it is. And if need be, if you don't want to make these live, then take some Skype questions between this time and edit what you want. But just have the American public their opinion, their questions, and not everybody else's. Hey, Marlene, before they dare talk about their First Amendment rights, they need to learn how to appropriately and professionally use them in the roles they are serving. Otherwise, they're nothing but loser wannabes. I think that's so true, Monique. You know, having a First Amendment right doesn't give you the right to be disrespectful. And I know, I mean, ask your questions. Ask your questions all day long, but stop being disrespectful. You don't have a right to do that. You don't have a right to talk down to somebody or try to humiliate them. And, you know, she can't leave the room. Then they'll say, oh, you know, Sarah ran away. We made Sarah cry, you know, things of that nature. So, you know, you can't trash people you don't like. Well, apparently, Marianne, they feel that they can, and that's what they're doing, and they're getting away with it, and it needs to be stopped. First Amendment protects their right to report, but not the right to be on TV. Exactly, Kim. And we all know that Jim Acosta wants to be on TV. He wants to be on camera. He wants to make a big deal out of it. He wants it to be retweeted 1,000 times, and he wants to be in the spotlight, period. And now this guy in the back of the room, which I will just continue to call Columbo, because I don't think we need to know his name. I don't want to give him any more fame than he already has. But now they think it's a big joke. You know, like, oh, we're going to go in there, we're going to gang up, and we're going to ask these questions. Do not turn the camera on them at all. Absolutely, Barbara. They're fishing for points with their editors, yes. And they think, you know, honestly, they think this is what their readers want. Are you kidding me? I mean, are they listening to their readers? And I know some of them are very liberal, but even still, I think they're even tired of it. It's a never stop thing, you know. And it was so funny. Hannity came out and said that Jim Acosta was unhinged. He said he was, you know, he was biased, and he was there to prevent the president from carrying out his agenda because Acosta was doing his agenda. And Jim responded in a tweet to Hannity, Jim Acosta, saying, Sean needs a hug. Okay, Jim, very, very good. Yeah, I know. Has Acosta ever been hinged? That's exactly right. Hannity monologue was great, Marianne said. Shauna said Acosta is a, you know what. Thanks for coming back, Gina. Thundering all around, Shauna said, oh no. Not only Crybaby Acosta, but Mika and Joe are unhinged as well. Yes, Monique, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. They certainly are, and they think it's perfectly okay for them to say whatever they want with no, you know, feedback or consequences for their own behavior. I think people, you know, did you see the altercation between Cernovich? Yeah. I don't know that necessarily, Lori, was an altercation. I mean, it was just they were just talking. I know that Cernovich said, you know, he tried to shove him. I didn't see that. Hey, Marguerite, is Joe trying to leave MSNBC? I doubt it. Where would he go? You know, and I don't know if this is true, but I read that Joe used to be a Republican. So I don't know what happened. I guess Mika, you know, changed all that. Too many words. God bless Sarah and Trump. Yes. Yeah, I didn't, you know, Cernovich, I think, again, may have been trying to make this a big story with him and the reporter, but all I saw was a conversation where they ended up shaking hands, and the reporter did most of the talking. Yeah, no. Yeah, so you have to be careful sometimes with the Periscope pundits because they seem to want to be a part of the news rather than reporting the news, as somebody else had said a while ago. A fake Republican, Robert. Yeah, absolutely. No, thankfully I did not see the music video with Joe Scarborough and Mika. Mika is pictured next to the words no-brainer in the dictionary, Shauna said. Don't you think Joe and Mika engagement is PR move? No, Rhonda, I just think that's just who they are. Isn't Mika a Russian? I have no idea. Probably. The name sounds Russian, but, you know, it's okay, I guess, for that. Sean said he tried to get hired by Fox 2 times and he didn't get in. Oh, no. Yeah, Cernovich, I guess, said something in the press room and this guy didn't like it or whatever. I don't know if he was sucking up to the press corps or not. Monique said Mika has Russian roots. Mike said nicked. Yeah, I think I heard Lee this morning talking about people sucking up in the press room, so in the press briefing, so maybe he was talking about Cernovich. I have no idea. We need to research Mika's background. I think she may be Russian or something. Yeah, Carrie, that's what somebody else said on Facebook. Wow, you watched their show for 10 plus years, Monique. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know how you did it, but I'm sorry to hear that. Just the same. To me, it's like on the same level as The View almost. It's just less people. Good morning, Lorianne. I haven't seen you in so long. Maybe Mika is colluding with Russians and MSM to spread gossip. There you go, Rhonda. But if that would be okay, nobody would care and nobody would even question it. Cernovich didn't suck. He spoke out that reporters ignored the violence against the right. Ah, Nancy. Hey, Ellen, good to see you. So you think she's Soviet also, Hugh? Mika is the daughter of NSA head for Carter. Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Jimmy Carter. Who could forget those wonderful days? I heard Mika was Putin's cousin, Asher said. I know, Lorianne, you got to come in, you get up early. I know some people, Carmen always misses a show because she stays up too late at night, and then she misses the show in the morning. She's up till like 3 in the morning or something like that, I tell you. Some other news today, the travel restrictions, the travel ban restrictions, whatever you want to call it, that President Trump had, and the Supreme Court recently said temporarily you can have this travel restrictions. They go into effect at 8 o'clock tonight. I know, Kim, you have to get some sleep. Thank you, Lorianne. My ranch videos. Yeah, everybody have to go back and watch the ranch videos on YouTube. Yeah, so anybody that has a relationship with an individual or an entity in America can come on in. Anybody else has to go through the vetting process. And usually it's depending on which country, 90-day to 120-day. Cloudberry, I didn't see you come in. Good to see you. So let's see. Other stuff that's going on. Haven't heard about anything about this in the news. I kind of found it just by accident in some ways. The House Intelligence Committee now wants to interview the White House aide. His name is Keith Schiller. He has been Trump's longtime bodyguard, and he accompanied Kushner and Kushner to, let's see, when he went to Iraq. And he was also the man who hand-delivered, now you would want this job, he hand-delivered Comey's termination to him. So now they want to talk to him. After all we've been told, that the whole Russia thing, the Russia collusion thing, all a farce, no proof, still. I know, lucky fella, isn't that great? We're going to go back now, and we're going to have a session with him in the House Intelligence Committee. But don't bank on that too much, because these are from sources familiar with the investigation. So it could be that it's just a lie. Just more tactics to keep the Russian hoax story alive? Absolutely. I believe that. Like he's going to say anything, they've lost their minds. And then I guess sometime in July, Roger Stone is going to have a closed-door session with the House Intelligence Committee as well. So, they're doing their investigation. Mueller's doing his investigation. The Senate Intel's doing their investigation. Everybody's doing their investigation. Nothing's kind of getting done on, health care, the tax reform, and things like that. So we've got to be able to move things along. What I would give to be there for the Stone testimony, I know. Fake news, as our president would say. And it just may be fake news. We don't know. Again, you can't, unless the president says it, you don't really know. And then when he says it, they accuse him of lying, or it's fake coming from him. So, but that should be interesting to see that happen. We won't be able to see it, but maybe perhaps after it's occurred, we'll hear some things. I don't know. I wonder if we can demand an open hearing for Roger. They don't have to listen to us, Kim. You can ask for it. You can certainly say we want an open hearing. But I think with Roger Stone, he's quasi a public figure, and he's also he's a person who doesn't have to go in front of the House Intel if he doesn't want to. Yeah. Shauna said Roger will no doubt walk to the podium for the interview after. They never do. Why would they start now? Exactly. Roger Stone won't be cucked. He has been poisoned and hit by a car, and they still can't kill him. He just keeps getting up. He's like a cat with 9 lives, Well, he's got them on the defensive, lets them prove that they're true. What's coming out of this? In some ways, this whole investigation, what is coming out of this whole Russia investigation is the fact that the DNC, the Democrats, Hillary, Podesta, Comey, Lynch, on and on and on, may have a lot to answer for and may have some connections that really need to be brought out into the light. Let's just say that. Mika's father is Polish-born and mother Swiss-born, descendant of Czechoslovakia, brother ambassador to Sweden, Rhonda said, in regards to Mika. Yeah, somebody may go to jail. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't necessarily think it's going to be Hillary. It never is. They've done things in the past they've never gone to jail for, supposedly, allegedly. If you could at this point, if everybody would invite your followers in on the second half, that would be wonderful. Would really appreciate it if you would do that. Podesta needs to go sicko. Yeah. A video will go to jail. Yeah, the guy who made that video will go to jail for doing nothing wrong, but she won't. No one gets locked up that I want, Don said. Hey, Don, good morning. Trump's popularity is booming thanks to MSM. Absolutely. Thank you for inviting everyone. I really appreciate it. Everybody on YouTube, if you would give me a thumbs up, I would certainly appreciate that. Wanda, good to see you. Thanks for coming in, everybody. Thanks for sharing. So appreciate it. Release low-level drug prisoners to make room for crooked government folks. Oh, Kim said. Intern died mysteriously. Yeah. I'm here now. Your YouTube crashed again. Uh-oh, Shauna. Probably the weather. Hey, Joyce, good to see you. Tell Annabelle hello for us. So another thing, I think that you'll find this really good news. You remember Matt Bevin, who is now the governor of Kentucky? He signed a bill on Tuesday which will allow Bible courses to be taught in public schools in Kentucky. So you can thank Matt Bevin for doing the right thing. The bill is going to allow the local school boards the option of developing a class for students to understand the role of the Bible played in American history. The class will be an elective. It's not going to be a requirement. And the Republican who sponsored the bill said that the Bible was the foundation for the developments of the Declaration of Independence and other important documents in U.S. history. So, very cool. I'm sure that doesn't make CARE happy, and it doesn't make the ACLU happy, who said they'll be watching it to make sure that, that the Bible is being taught as a history and not being preached. And so I guess the ACLU is going to make a determination of what is preaching and what is teaching. Well, by the right person, what is the right person? I don't care who teaches it as long as they're accurate and don't put their own personal opinion in there. So if if a Muslim teaches it and they teach it accurately, I've got no problem with that. Proud of your governor. Robin, you should be proud of your governor. Good to see you. Yeah, finally we have a governor, a Christian governor who's doing the right thing and saying, you have CARE who wants to have, Islam taught in the schools, but we can't have the Bible taught, and the one that our history is dependent upon. That's what I mean. How do we know it will be accurate? Well, Carrie, we don't know anything that the teachers are doing in public schools. The only way you're going to know if what they're teaching is accurate is to have parents go in and sit there and find out what their children are being taught. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Obama had our history removed from the textbooks. Gina, that's right. Pretty much so. Used to sub regularly for a coach who was a history teacher who worked the Bible into Roman history. Good for them. You know, as a parent, if you're going to send your kids to public schools, you're going to have to go into the classroom. And if they don't allow you into the classroom, you're going to have to find out why and perhaps remove them from the classroom. I don't think Islam or the Bible should be taught either way in public schools. You know, Carrie, I think the way it's going to be taught, it's going to be taught about the historical leanings of it. I mean, if you look at the Bible, the Constitution, you know, it's all based upon Judeo-Christian principles. That's how the Constitution was formed. So if you want to know where the Constitution comes from, it's from biblical principles. So why shouldn't that be taught? And a long time ago, the Bible used to be a book inside the classroom that was used every single day. So, hey, Zoe, good to see you. So, I mean, I think you have to look at it that way. And, you know, you're going to have all these other people that want all the other religions taught. So, exactly. You know, teach the truth, whatever it is. Teach the truth. That's what should be taught. And if you don't want religion at all in schools, then take out all religion from schools. Make it across the board. Don't just do it as to Christianity, because that's what's happening. So, you know, thank God for, and it, you know, thank God for Governor Bevin, who said, you know, if you're going to put one in, you're going to have to put them all. Hey, keep calm. Lisa, good to see you. Yes, Jennifer, our great nation was built on the Bible. That's where all the principles come from. That's where the forefathers got their knowledge. That's what they based it on. So I personally would like to know what the roots are. Thank you for inviting your followers. Robert, good to see you. They were teaching about religion 12 years ago when my daughter was in junior high school. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, again, I think parents should be the one that teach religion. But if you're looking at it from a historical point altogether, just that, then, you know, I think that's fine to be taught in schools. It depends on how they're going to teach it, I guess. But the historical roots are what need to come out with that. But again, parents should be the one teaching their children the religion at home. They should have done, see. Thank you for inviting everybody, Utah, and for Robert and everybody else. Thank you so much. Everyone that can should homeschool, Asher said. Inalienable rights. Robin said, we do homeschool. Robin is really great at doing homeschool, Asher. I've known Robin for a long time, and she really puts, I'd say 100% of her effort into her children. Does a great job. So how do you feel about men being superior to women? Well, if they were, we'd have a conversation. But since they're not, we don't have anything to talk about. Can't wait for the story on 9-year-old wife. Yeah, I know, exactly. I'm sure they'll probably leave that out. Yeah, I saw that, Monique. I mentioned that before. Yeah, so, you know, let's see, Wanda said, I personally would require my children to take that class. However, you do not have to. It's your choice. Exactly. Deanna, good to see you. And it's, you know, I think it's good. I know, Monique. That was laughable. It was just a troll coming in. The trolls come in, the trolls go out, you know. They are teaching Islam and Buddhism in elementary schools. Yeah, see, I don't think the topic that history, you know, history is not taught typically until at least middle school or higher. So I don't think that should be even a conversation in elementary school. You're welcome, Robin. They are your life, and I know that. And you do, like I said, you do a great job. You and your husband are great parents. They should teach religions as world history, not doctrine. Asher, and that's what the whole thing is supposed to be in Kentucky. So, you know, again, I'm glad that he took that step, because if he didn't, then everything else would be taught except for Christianity. Hey, Joseph, good to see you. So we have some sad news. Thank you, Robert. We have some pretty sad news. It's pretty egregious behavior. And I want to tell you this because I think the word needs to get out. You know, when we talk about child abuse, child sexual abuse, and things of that nature, you know, you always think that a lot of people think that people fit into a certain mold, and you're always able to tell who that person is that could be a child abuser, and that's not the case. You know, they come in different shapes, different forms, different, you know, ages, male, female, and different ethnicities and different races. And so, you know, it's hard to protect children in that regard because you just don't know who it is. We have a case coming out of Santa Cruz, California. You're right. There's no profile for child sex abuser, unfortunately. That's so true, Kim. A prominent brain surgeon, and I have this up on my SusanKnowles.com. A prominent brain surgeon in Santa Cruz, California, is charged with 11 counts of child rape and abuse. And he's been practicing in California since 1998. He's facing a possible sentence of 165 years to life if convicted. 2 other nurses were also charged with several counts of child molestation and 1 count of manufacturing child pornography. And yesterday there was a protest that was held out in front of the courthouse. People were protesting and saying, we don't want him released back into our community, kind of like, you know, begging the judge, thank you, Lorianne, begging the judge to not let him go and not letting him, you know, have bail before the trial. But the judge set bail at $6.4 million. And we have to keep in mind he has not been convicted. He's been charged. So, you know, we don't know whether he's innocent or guilty, but that's right now that he's facing 11 charges of child rape. Yes, he made bail Deanna, $6.4 million bail. I believe he's out. I mean, he can afford it. And he's been suspended. He had a license in a couple other states, and I think that those have been suspended. I remember Alabama, California, and I don't remember what the third one is. It is scary, Wanda. This was in Santa Cruz, California, Jennifer. No wonder parents start taking action into their own hands. Well, Gina, it's like I said, yeah, Ronald, $640,000 in cash is what he put up. My husband is a professor, so it took a lot to get him to homeschool. Wow, Robert, I didn't know that. This is on my Facebook, Carrie. It's also on my Twitter timeline, Karen. I think am I saying is it Carrie? It says Carrie Kitos, so I'm not sure if that's Karen or. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty egregious. The prosecutors argued that he not get bail, and they wanted it extremely high. But you know the judge has laws that he has to follow as well, and so you know he set bail at $6.4 million. That is a pretty high bail. And who knows? You know, who knows if he's a flight risk or not? The nurses, one of the nurses. From what the attorney said, her attorney said they had a dating relationship. Don't know if that's true or not. And her license as a nurse to practice has been suspended until after the trial. Yeah, it's hard to believe that he's out walking around and being accused of that. Also, in other news, it seemed yesterday was a bad news for child molestation. How was the doctor found out, Lori? They did not give details on that. Australian police on Thursday charged Cardinal George Pell. He's Australia's most senior Catholic official. He's been charged with multiple sexual offenses. He's the Pope's chief financial advisor and the highest ranking official to be charged in the Catholic Church's long-standing sexual abuse scandal. So that's all that I know about him. We'll have to continue to follow that and see what happens with that. I think some people are looking at that and saying, okay, is the Pope going to do what he says he was going to do, which is that if somebody, a Catholic priest or Catholic cardinal commits or is accused of committing a crime such as this against children, that the Pope is going to fully cooperate. Yeah, I know, Nancy. It's extremely sad. But again, as I said, child abusers, child molesters, child rapists, they don't come in one size, one look. It is they're all different walks of life, all different ages, sex, ethnicity, race, on and on and on. So that's why you have to protect your children the best way you can, and I guess in some respects not trust anybody. I mean, and it seems like that more and more so these days. And I think you guys heard yesterday, turning now to some other news, that the acting FBI director, McCabe, he's being investigated by the Office of U.S. Special Counsel for violating the Hatch Act, and which prohibits the FBI agents from campaigning in partisan races. What he did, there's photographs of him next to his wife, both wearing T-shirts saying, support whatever her name is. I don't really know what her name is, in her campaign, and he's not allowed to do that. It was in the Virginia Senate in 2015, so those T-shirts are just coming out. He's not allowed to do that under the Hatch Act, supposedly. Again, that's something that's going to be investigated and tried. He's also being investigated for discrimination. Thanks, Monique. Yeah, I know. Is it Miki? Miki? I don't know how to say the name. Mickey I? I know I butchered that name, but your last name is York. I got that. Good to see you. Yeah, he's the Hatch Act says it's an FBI employee cannot engage in political activity in concert with a political party, a candidate for partisan political office, or a partisan political group. It defines that as any activity directed at the success or failure of a partisan group or candidate in a partisan election. And again, T-shirt said, vote for her. And he also came out on social media and said, vote for her. And there's been a sexual discrimination and retaliation complaint filed against him by Robin Gritz. So he's got a lot going on right now. And he's the acting FBI director. So the holdovers from Obama, they're real winners in some respects. Humanity is a swamp in general, Marlene said. I would say that's a generalization, Marlene, but I'm sure that you know that. I mean, it is sad, the things that we're seeing. Asher said, if I were rich, I would help people accommodate their families. Yeah, I know. That would be good. You could help them be able to stay home and homeschool their kids and all that. It would be a better thing for them to do. So there you go. That's what you get. Sarah Carter says Flynn testified against McCabe in the sex discrimination case. Yeah. And now, I mean, there again, there's a conflict of interest there because you've got McCabe coming after Flynn. I mean, as the FBI director, part of what his responsibilities are, and Flynn testified against him in the sexual discrimination case. It's crazy. Hey, Jamie, good to see you. Take that. And so, there's so much conflict of interest floating around with the Obama leftovers because they don't know what the law is. I'm guessing. I mean, obviously, if they know what it is, they're just continuing to break it, or at least the ethics they're breaking. Sometimes the law, sometimes the ethics. In proven cases, he has a vendetta against Flynn. Yeah, and again, Podesta took money from the Russians supposedly in the tune of $35 million. I guess that was okay when he was the campaign director for Hillary Clinton. I mean, I don't. The double standards are just amazing. When will the law win? Lorianne, hopefully we're starting to see that a little bit. I mean, we're seeing that with the Supreme Court and the ruling they came out recently for the president with the travel restrictions. I mean, at least we're seeing some semblance of law coming back. They ever approve Ray? Can he fire them all? I don't know. Yes, he could. Will he? I don't know. we'll have to, there's so much right now. If you terminate somebody, it's going to be the whole Comey termination speech all over again. So it's almost better at this point just kind of sit back and wait for things, I guess. I think I heard Ray friend with Comey. Oh, gosh. Kim, that would not surprise me. Is anybody not a friend to Comey? We need to have categories of importance investigating Russia, hacking, and wearing a campaign T-shirt. I know, Teresa. But it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. The 6 degrees of Jim Comey. Yep. Someone said Michael Moore had a meltdown. Oh, maybe that's a good thing, Shauna. Wonder what the meltdown was about. Oh, and just to let you know, too, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago to you, Jason Chaffetz is going to be working with Fox News. It's official. He's a contributor. He's going to start July 1. So he and Shep would probably get along well together because, as you remember, when Jason was leaving, he was saying things about President Trump that weren't so wonderful. Michael Moore got hungry and had a meltdown. Yeah, maybe he needed a Snickers bar, Jamie, to keep him from being angry. You need a Snickers bar. And coming out of the Senate Intelligence Committee, the chairman, Richard Burr of North Carolina, says that the panel is going to obtain the former FBI director Comey's memo detailing his talks with President Trump. He says that he's gotten that commitment, but he won't say who made that commitment or where they're coming from. Oh, that's okay, Monique. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing burgers aren't filling. Exactly. I believe Comey knew more about Obama and Clinton, but was threatened to back off. My thoughts. Oh, yeah. I would guarantee you that. I'd bet a lot on that. Yeah, I think that, he and other people weren't allowed to have that tarmac discussion and be in on that with Lynch and Clinton. I think Comey knew some things there. He had those conversations with Lynch where she told him to call it a matter. And I guess he was too afraid to tell her no, as he's afraid of everyone, apparently. I guess when you're 6'8", you're just, naturally afraid of everyone. Every day. Okay, Marlene, thank you so much. If you would please retweet this, Marlene, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I know. It's like more. Oh, now we got the Republicans. Oh, can't tell you the source. Behind the tall curtains. I know. Poor Comey. I think he had a fascination with that grandfather clock. I know that. That was the thing I know for sure. That stood out. Hey, Kay, good to see you. That stood out in everything that he did. That grandfather clock by the door, He probably knew what year it was and how often it ticked and, what color it was and everything else. The guy, he's obsessed with detail, except when he doesn't want to be, when it goes against him or anything else. I know, I think there was a secret camera in there. I know, Teresa, maybe that's what he was looking to say. Maybe that's what it boils down to it. When it all boils down to it. I've seen that clock and door several times in the house cards recently. I know, you always think of Comey, and forevermore, whenever you see that grandfather clock, you're going to think of Comey. You're going to think either he was in there or, he knows something about that clock that we don't know. Grandpa was watching him. I wonder if he was scared of that clock is what I want to know. Obama knew about Hillary's private server, had an alias on it himself, and when asked by the press in 2015, when did he learn about it, he lied, Monique said. Yeah. Well, there were so many things. What wasn't a lie, I guess. Comey has secret obsession with little... Oh, no, I'm not even going to read that. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for coming in today. I so appreciate it. It's been great talking to you today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your super hearts. Thank you for inviting your followers. If you would, please just go ahead and retweet this. That would be great. I would really appreciate it. And we'll be back that's so cute. Thank you, Tori. Have an awesome day. Carrie, we're going to have so much fun talking about this. Thank you. Bye, Jamie. Have a good day. Have a great day today as well, Laura. See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Bye, everybody. Take care. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for Thank you, Facebook. All right. Thank you, everybody.